when I close my eyes, or swim and run on the playgrounds in my mind. I am tall and strong and able, I can chase my fears away when I live inside a brand new sunny day.
People with disabilities have to live their lives in a certain way. Their habits may seem quirky or foreign to others. Menial tasks can become a challenge. Coping with any disability involves more than just learning alternative ways to accomplish tasks. It means that people with disabilities must also find ways to develop self-assurance and courage to go out into the world and live their lives to the fullest. Join us for fun and education as we give ordinary able-bodied people a chance to try on a disability. We hope that after you watch this presentation, you will be able to see people with physical or mental challenges as people first and their disability last. We also believe that if you understand the disability, you will be more empathetic and are more likely to include someone with a disability in your circle of friends. When individuals have a decreased sense of touch or strength in their hands, everyday tasks become a challenge. In many cases, they are not visibly disabled. People tend to look at them strangely and sometimes think of them as stupid when they have a difficult time performing a straightforward task. When a person is newly disabled, it may take a great deal of time to figure out ways of doing the simplest things.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Gail. What's your name? Liam. So Liam, we're going to practice a little bit about what it feels like to have some disabilities, right? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on some mitts and pretend it's hard for you to feel things. That's called lack of sensation. Do you want to put those on? You'll see they're really, really thick. Yeah. And then we're going to try and get you to do some things that you can probably do really easy without the mitts. And we'll see how it feels with you putting them on. How do they feel?
Heavy.
You got to talk to me as we go through this and tell me how everything feels, okay? So they feel heavy?
Yes.
And are they thick? Okay.
Very.
So can you pick up the little blue wallet? How did that feel? Is that how you'd always pick it up, kind of like that? Is that what you know? What-
I'd use my fingertips.
Yeah. Well, how come you didn't use your fingertips?
Because I don't have any fingertips.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so could you get some money out of there for us? How does that feel?
Kind of the same.
So you'd have to dump it out. So you'd have to have somewhere to dump it out if you were doing this, right?
Yeah.
If this was how your hands were? Okay. How about if we try with the keys now? So there's your keys, okay? Now let's pretend you just got home, you gotta go to the bathroom, it's raining, and you gotta get the door open. Quick, quick, quick. Quick.
This key.
No, the bigger one. I think it's the one with the red.
Oh,
That one, okay?
this key.
You gotta open the door, remember? You gotta go to the bathroom. Okay. How do you think that would work?
It would be hard because even when I'm wearing like snow gloves, really fluffy
Yeah.
snow gloves, it's hard to turn the knob.
The knob's slippery, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it would be even
so-
harder if I had.
A special doorknob might be a good idea. Somebody should have meant
Yeah.
that. Okay, all right.
When one of the upper limbs does not work, then many everyday tasks become difficult. Normally, a person uses one hand to stabilize an object and the other hand to do the task. Alternate ways must be tried. People who can think outside the box are needed to help solve some of these challenges. Even though you may have lost the use of one upper limb, you can learn to lead a very useful and independent lifestyle with the help of adaptive materials and support.
So Diane, this morning we're going to practice what it would be like to only have the use of one arm. as if perhaps you'd had a stroke or something like that. So what we're gonna do is make it so you can't use your dominant arm. Which one do you write with?
I'm right-handed.
Okay, so let's put this arm down, and we're just gonna tie that against your body so that you're not gonna be tempted to be a two-armed person right now.
Okay.
If that's okay. And we'll just tie that up. Okay, so that looks nice and snug. Make sure you try not to use that. So what we're gonna do again is get you to take the lid off of your medication. It's time to take your medication for the day.
Okay.
And then as we go, Diane, remember to tell us how you're feeling, okay?
Well, I can't open it, and I need this medicine now?
Well, it's time to take it. So this is your anti-seizure medication. So it's time. You have to take that. So
But
you're gonna have to get that pill bottle.
There's
off.
no way. I can't, and I would be like terrified, scared.
So what would you do?
Try to call somebody. I'm not sure. But there's no way.
Oh, it sounds like you've got it.
Well, but I can't.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, then it's a good thing we can get it in a blister pack, isn't it?
yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can't.
You can't possibly get it open?
No,
Okay.
I can't.
So you'd either have to get somebody to live with you, or you'd have to get the medicine in a different way, or somebody at least to be here.
Definitely, I could never. I can't imagine.
So taking your pills on your own wouldn't be an option with this bottle.
Never in
Okay.
a million years.
Well, we can get blister packs for you.
Oh, please.
Okay. There is a special plate for people that have limited use of their arms or hands, and it's this special little plate here. So do you want to, I don't want to touch your toast in case you do decide to eat it. So now take the knife and just finish putting the jam on it. There's still some jam in there. You want to get it all, right? You don't want
Yes.
to waste it because you're on a pension,
Yes,
right?
that's right. Not every little bit helps.
So, and maybe tell us how it feels different to use that plate.
Oh, it's got edges. It holds it in place for me. Oh, that's better.
It's better.
Oh, wonderful. I can spread it all over,
Okay.
and it's not moving all around.
So it feels better task-wise, right? To have that plate? Okay, so now tell me, Diane, when you go out and you're all dressed up and you have a date and you bring your little plastic blue plate to the restaurant, how does that feel?
Well, I'd feel a lot better getting the jam on the toast instead of on my date.
This is true, yeah. So you're okay with that, taking it out?
I think I would feel a lot better and more confident with having.
So that's good. So it's a matter of learning to compromise and saying,
Yes.
this is what's important.
Yes.
And yeah, this is how I have to make it happen. Excellent.
I think this would help me a great deal.
Good. That's great. That's good.
For some people, just a few inches may make a difference between independence and dependence. It can be very difficult for some people with muscle weakness or lack of movement to get up or sit down on a standard chair or toilet seat. The height of the chairs can make a difference between being able to get up and down without assistance. Grab bars in bathrooms and vehicles are essential tools to assist people. The more assistance a person needs, the less control they have of their life, and the more apt they are to feel useless.
Hi, I'm Gail.
Hi, Gail. I'm Charles.
Charles, very good to meet you. So Charles, you remember you've been briefed a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about disabilities, what it's
Absolutely.
like to live with a disability.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do is get a sense of what it's like to get down onto a chair that's low.
Okay.
For your comfort. And so we thought we'd start with this one here. And I just want you to come over in front of it and just lower yourself onto it.
That is a low chair.
That is a low chair.
Okay.
So how did that sort of feel?
A little bit awkward. Yeah, it's pretty. I'm low down here.
You're low down there, yeah. So if your legs were weaker, how do you think that would feel?
It'd be more difficult. Absolutely. It's past the you know, the 90-degree kind of comfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to show us how you'd get up? Alrighty. A
Okay.
lot easier than I would have. Alrighty. So we're going to redo that, Charles.
Yeah.
Now, with the scenario that you have some weakness in your legs, perhaps you have arthritis or something, we're going to give you this leg brace to put on. Which is your dominant leg? Which is your dominant arm?
I'm right-handed.
So maybe put that on your right leg too, because it's probably the stronger leg.
Sure.
And then we'll redo it. Could you do that again? Sit down for us.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay.
It seems a lot further away than it did a second ago.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm instantly looking for something to grab onto,
Yeah.
and obviously.
Then I'm
there's-
just gonna
and I'm
back
just
up
I'm
a
gonna
little
I'm
bit.
gonna end up dropping down onto this. So yeah, backing up's not a bad idea. So there.
Okay. So how did that feel?
Awkward.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little bit nervous when you get to a certain point because then you're just free falling,
Right.
and if you miss, then you're in trouble.
So if you were, say, in a toilet stall and
Yeah.
it was lower than you were comfortable with and you miss, it's going to be
And you're in a vulnerable situation. Yeah.
wouldn't be good, would it?
No.
Okay, yeah. So it has all kinds of connotations. Try and get up for us, will you?
Yeah. Again, I'm looking to grab onto something
Yeah.
and nothing's there. And this has got to get right underneath. And then you got to get a momentum forward and then up.
So you're a pretty healthy, strong guy, but if you were maybe another 30 or 40 years older,
If there was any kind of problems with this other leg, it wouldn't be an option.
you'd still be sitting there?
Yeah, even if you had it, well, you wouldn't go down because you know that you couldn't get up.
Right.
And if there's any problems in your knee or your muscle isn't healthy as it could be, then it would be a problem.
Okay. All right.
Most people who are hearing impaired aren't totally deaf. They have partial hearing. But even partial hearing loss is devastating to language development and clear communication with others. Hearing only fragments of words is frustrating as well as misleading and could result in negative consequences. Hearing impairment also affects balance. People with a hearing impairment can look drunk to others because they may stagger in an effort to keep their balance. The old term deaf and dumb describes the frustration of people with partial hearing loss and the frustration of those around them. We associate speech with intelligence. If you can't speak, the person you are communicating with will think in the back of their mind that you are stupid. In reality, the brain of a deaf person is not any different from anyone else's. But over time, auditory memory does not develop. Ask the hearing impaired person how you can help. Should you write something down? Does signing help? Learn about alternative communications, and if possible, learn them yourself because any of your attempts will demonstrate that you care. Be guided by the cues of the person with hearing loss. Assume nothing about intelligence by their lack of language expression. This misunderstanding often happens to hearing impaired people.
I'm standing here with Deborah, and she's going to help us to demonstrate a hearing impaired disability, correct?
Okay, yes.
So we're going to just let you know that we have put something on the bottom of one of her shoes to help her balance be off a little bit because that happens when you have hearing difficulties. And we're just going to ask you to put on these lovely little earplugs. So can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? No, you can't hear me?
I can hear you a little
A
bit.
little bit, okay. And that's the case with most people that have a hearing impairment. Most people have a little bit of hearing. So one of the things we're going to first get you to do is just walk around the chair a couple times. Can you do that? And just tell us how it feels as you're doing it.
It's a lot shakier than I thought it was going to be.
That's interesting.
my heart is
Pounding?
racing
Okay.
because it does. I don't feel grounded at all. It's amazing that it's very wobbly,
Oh,
feeling very insecure.
are you? Okay.
How would you feel if you woke up one morning and realized you would have to spend the whole day as a blind person? Imagine what it would be like to find some clothes to wear. Imagine what it would be like to go through your other morning chores and get out into the public to follow your daily routine. It might be pretty scary, and you may choose to stay inside the safety of your home. If you saw a person dressed in business clothes, carrying a suitcase and a white cane, you may automatically make assumptions about that person's disability, rather than about who they are or what they are capable of. If you do happen to see a blind person who appears lost or needing help, speak directly to them and start by introducing yourself. Ask them if you can help them in some way. Do not grab them by the arm or assume that you know what they need. You would be amazed how many blind people have encountered well-meaning persons who help them across the street, when in actual fact, they wanted to go the other way. When a group of people are sitting around chatting to one another, how does the blind person know who is being spoken to? Make sure you address people by name when you are in social settings. When you meet a blind person you know, introduce yourself again. It just makes it easier for them to figure out who you are.
So the first thing we're going to do, can you get a sense of where the table is? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you to take these cups apart. Can you find the cups? And just take one off. Tell me how you're feeling. How does that feel? Is it kind of
dumb.
You feel dumb?
Yeah.
Oh, why is that?
Gutsy. Because you can't really know where anything is.
Okay. So now you're going to need to set that down somewhere safe on the table. And then I'm going to need you to find the jug and pour yourself a little bit of water. How do you feel right now?
Kind of klutzy.
Kind of klutzy.
Yeah.
What would you feel like if your friends were watching you?
Embarrassed.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
It didn't spill, did it?
Not yet. You're doing a great job. Now you want to have a little drink of that. Sorry, I guess the mask is too big, but we get the idea.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and set that down. Alrighty. Now, could you just make sure that the cups and the jug are off to the side so we could do our next thing?
I'm going to spill it.
How does this feel?
Scary.
Scary? Okay, and then we want to get the jug out of the way too. Good job. What do you think it would feel like to do that all the time for everything you do?
Scary.
Yeah.
Like scared that I'm going to spill, and then I wouldn't know that I spilled, and then I'd slip, and then I'd hurt myself.
What would it be like to do that at school in the cafeteria?
That'd be very embarrassing.
Why would it be embarrassing?
Well, because you're doing stuff that you can't really, that most people can't do, so it's
Is
kind
it-
of, yes, it's hard.
Is it hard to be different?
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you seeing there? What does it look like?
Well, you can't see anything straight ahead, and everything in the peripheral area is blurry. You can see some things. Colors don't seem to be obscured, but definitely can't see straight ahead. That would be very frustrating.
Uh-huh. It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It might definitely be difficult to drive.
You wouldn't be able to drive. Better not be driving.
Okay, the next one is cataracts. Tell us what that looks like.
This one is a fog. It's like driving in the fog.
Uh-huh.
You see lights, nothing else really. It's just a gray misty fog. Whitish misty fog, I should say.
So
Just
you
like
know
fog. It looks
something's
exactly
there,
like
but
fog.
you're not sure.
Sure, just
There's
only
no
lights.
clarity?
Only
Okay.
lights you can see.
Okay. Frustrating, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next one is glaucoma. How does that look and how does that feel? What's the
You
limitation?
can see, it's exactly the opposite of the macular degeneration. You can see straight ahead and nothing around it.
Okay.
You can see lights, you can see faces, but only when you look right at them,
Okay.
you know. So,
So you wouldn't be able to turn and see me. There's no peripheral vision.
no, you'd have to turn your
Totally.
eyes, you'd have to,
Okay.
with the card you can't rotate. So you
Yeah.
have to look straight at people
Yeah.
to see them.
Okay. And the next one, diabetic retinopathy, I think it's pronounced.
Diabetic retinopathy.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, if we can say it, we can try it on.
This one is very fragmented. It's like a piece of marble, kind of, and you can see through parts of it, and the white spots are obscured. You can see, but there's a lot of it. Only about half, not even half, of what you would
So
normally be
keep
able
that
to see.
on there.
Okay.
And could you just read me the very top line here? On the very top of the card, right there.
Take a look. Problems, conditions.
Conditions, good. So if you were a person that had any kind of tremor, that would really be tough to keep it in the right place, wouldn't
It
it?
certainly would.
Yeah. And then the last one, which is total blindness. Do you want to read anything for me? What do you think?
I don't think you can. I can't read anything. It's just white. It's
Just-
not black like you might think it would mean to be blind. It's just gray. You know there's light. Where there's dark, you can see that it's dark, and even when you look right at a light, it's no lighter.
Interesting.
It's just there's a general white gray look about it. But like I say, when you turn to the black, then it gets really dark. So it's just a matter of daylight or darkness. That's all we can really tell.
Okay.
Mental illness can affect people by providing them with feelings of isolation and segregation, or living in their own world. They may not believe that they are in their own world, however the people around them do. When someone is hearing voices, it makes it hard to interact with others. A lot of times, these voices can be stilled with medication, and people can lead fairly normal lives. Hearing voices may make it very difficult to concentrate on the conversation or focus on the task at hand. This inability to concentrate on the conversation will probably lead to isolation and withdrawal from society.
So we're going to talk now a little bit about what it's like for people that have different mental health issues that are dealing with the day-to-day difficulty of hearing voices as they go through just their normal tasks. So what we're going to do is get Michelle to put on these headphones. I'll hold that for you if you like. And we've got some voices very typical of what a person with those kind of issues would hear, and we're just going to try and have a little short conversation. So do you want to turn that on?
Okay.
And just one sec. We're going to just be a couple people that haven't seen each other in a long time. We're going to meet in the store, and we're just going to see how that plays out, and how much of it how well that goes.
Okay, ready?
Okay, well, good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How have you been?
I'm very good. Where are you working now?
That's right.
I'm
Dirt
working in
shirt
real
alert.
estate. I'm working for
Dirt shirt
Sutton.
alert.
I'm working
jerk.
in Langley. Where
Slow
are
down.
you?
Now slow down.
I still work in
Slow
Maple
down.
Ridge. Yeah, I'm
Slow
still
down.
helping people
Slow
find
down.
jobs. Yeah. And how many kids do you have now?
Hey, you
No
smell like
kids.
skunk.
No kids.
Yeah, great.
Did you
Garbage.
have
You
kids?
stink.
I do. I have 3 kids and I have 4 grandkids.
Stinky.
I do, yeah.
That's good.
Dirt.
That's good. So
Shirt.
living
Alert.
in Maple
Jerk.
Ridge.
Wipe
Yeah.
that
Are you
smirk
okay?
off your
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. So
Could you give me
You
your
think this is
your
funny, don't you?
Could you give me your telephone
I
number?
think this is some kind of joke. It's not
Yeah,
a
do
joke.
you have a pen? I'll write
Not
it down
a
for you.
joke.
Just tell me, I have a
Oh,
really good memory.
okay, it's
You idiot.
604
This is not a joke.
888
Go ahead, try to do something.
3738.
Try to do something right. You
Okay.
can't.
And I'll give you mine, okay?
Piece of
I'm
crap.
sorry?
604. Would you like mine?
They smell
Yeah,
smell you.
can you text it? Can you text it to me? Because
Oh,
I won't remember it.
No?
Oh,
No.
smell you
Alright.
all
So
over
what else is
town.
new in your life?
They know what you did.
I'm sorry?
They know what you
What else
did.
is new for you these days?
It doesn't go away. It
Same
doesn't go
old,
away.
same old.
Doesn't
You know,
hide.
just
You can't
work as
hide.
much as I can, and yeah,
Hey,
it's good.
Good.
Listen to
And do you
me,
still
you-
live in Surrey?
Oh, it's over.
You looked really anxious.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, let's chat a little bit about that. That was really awkward, wasn't it?
Oh wow, I've never experienced anything like that. That was shocking.
I felt bad for her because I could see she was horribly uncomfortable. Could you give us a sense of what you were
Oh, I
hearing?
feel like I'm gonna cry. That was so awful. Yeah, it was very hard to pay attention, obviously, to what you were saying. Distracting, and just nasty. And there's one point in it where it's what you're hearing is that you smell bad, and so I immediately felt like I needed to step away from you, and yeah, very awful because I was trying to engage and I couldn't. Simple things like my phone number, which I know, I couldn't even. I had to think about it a lot to get that number out.
Interesting. I noticed sometimes when you were talking, you kind of flinched like this. What was happening when you were doing that?
It was yelling at me, basically, just like, you're stupid. That was one, and I was like, but it was just loud and sort of taking over my hearing completely.
Interesting.
And so there were moments where I have no idea what you said, and I had to back up and think about where we were in that conversation.
Michelle, what do you think it would be like if this was life every day for you, 24 hours a day?
I can't imagine you would ever get used to it. I can't imagine that it would ever get easier, or that you could tune that out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would function.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you would learn to. It would take longer to do everything, I think.
Longer?
Yeah, well, you'd have to. I kept losing track of our conversation. I mean, imagine trying to read a book or keep track of a movie plot. Well, I'd study. I can't imagine.
Really?
It would take longer, I think, because I had to keep going back in our conversation and sort of playing it again to get to where we were,
Oh, okay.
because I just
Okay.
lost track. Yeah.
So did you feel maybe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did you feel sort of a sense of powerlessness or like that you had no control?
Highly anxious, I would say,
okay.
which is of course a powerless feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted you to go away. Really, I was like, could you just leave me alone? I don't know how to answer all your hard questions, like my phone number.
That's interesting. Okay. And lastly, again, as before, could you just share with us sort of give us some other areas of your life where you can see that would be really profoundly detriment?
I
Or a
don't
difficulty.
think there is any area of your life that would not be impacted by that.
Mm.
I can't think
Okay.
of one thing unless it shuts off when you're sleeping. I can't imagine trying to fall asleep. And I, for the first time ever, can understand why somebody who is dealing with that kind of mental illness would take refuge in drugs or alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it shut it down, it's just enough to get to sleep.
Interesting.
That was hard.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I appreciate you being willing to take on something like that for us.
Thank you, I think.
All right, well, thank you, dear. Come again. Thanks.
The particular obstacle course that is being used in this film was built according to the Building Code of BC. As you can see, there are many areas that are very difficult to get through, and in fact, some are even dangerous. The difficulties and dangers are being compensated by a spotter who's going through the course with the person in the chair. In real life, many people in chairs do not have spotters with them, and as a result, they encounter many dangers in their journey through their day. Architects and legislators may need to spend some time sitting in wheelchairs to determine what the building code should be. They need to ensure that less hazardous routes are created for people in wheelchairs.
Hello, I'm Cliff Calverley. This is the course I designed in 1990, and was spurred on by having a disabled neighbor who had a lot of stamina, and he taught me a lot of respect about people that are disabled. And so in honor of his name, I designed this course. This course is built to the minimum building code standards, of which I wanted to show architects and engineers of the some of the pitfalls of building it as a minimum code requirement. So saying that, I can come through. The first door is a manual door. Okay, it's 36 inches wide. It has to be for a hallway. It's 36 inches wide and has to have a ramp. The ramp can only raise at a certain rate of speed, and it's at that speed. This ramp, the floor has half-inch thresholds in it, of which that is the legal limit. Then when you come down here, now you have to go into the washroom. When you come to the washroom, there again, it's a manual operation, and you have to get the wheelchair in here. Then you have to come in, you have to turn around and get on the toilet. And it's quite a challenge. It looks easy until you try it. So then you have to come in, come out here again, open the door. That's the easy part. And then come around here. Now you come around a corner. Now you have to negotiate a corner in the hallway. And then immediately you have another ramp. So there's quite a challenge at this point. We usually have to help people in this portion. Then when you get to here, then you got all these little half-inch thresholds, and then your reward at the end is an automatic door. So that's what the course is all about. We use it as a training tool. We set it up in malls for children, adults, architects, engineers, anybody that wants to get in a wheelchair and try it. And the comments have been very positive, and there's a whole lot of children in the last 20 years that are now architects that understand what life is like in a wheelchair.
To fully integrate into a healthy, active, and social lifestyle, it is important to try and create homes that are accessible for people with disabilities. For example, if you were invited to your friend's home, you shouldn't have to give them the third degree to find out if you can actually enter the home. It would be ideal if all homes could be wheelchair accessible, as it is important to have a way to accommodate friends in chairs for gatherings. All municipalities should consider ways of making this easier for people. Many modern advances are not necessarily user-friendly for people with disabilities. For example, many of the machines for debit and credit cards cannot be used by some disabled people, and in many cases it becomes very difficult to conceal PIN numbers or even read the instructions on the machine. There are many issues and walls confronting people with disabilities, even when these disabilities are not readily apparent. One of the biggest challenges that these people face is the lack of understanding and barriers that able-bodied people put up, often without realizing it. Remember, whenever you want to help someone with a disability, always ask them first, "How may I help you?" Let's join together to remove those barriers and help us all to reach our full potential.
I'm one of God's creations, and if you only knew, underneath this label, I'm just the same as you. So when you see me coming, please don't turn the other way. Stop and hear what my song has to say. 'cause I am proud and I have hope that we will find a way to all join hands on a brand new sunny day.